what's up, my de.xieties? It's your girl Kai, and I am back at y'all with another Reddit readings video. I told y'all I would be back. I told you I would be back next week. Did I not? Did I not? And I kept my promise this time. So let's get into these stories. I'm going to be covering some Am I the Asshole and some relationship advice. My cat is looking at this thing like she doesn't know what's going on, y'all. Hi, Mama. You want to say hi? Say hi. Say hi, guys. She's just being cute right now. So, before I get started, she's trying to get my water. Before I get started, y'all, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And please follow me on all my social medias. I'm pretty sure they're all de.xiety, but I'll either link them down below or you can see them in my intro. And we're just going to go ahead and get into these stories. All right. All right, y'all. Get into the makeup. Get into the makeup. Get into the earrings. Yo, I got these from TJ Maxx. Aren't they cute? But let's get into the makeup real quick. I want it to be like different. I want it to like do a little vibe, you know. I hope it's giving. I hope it's giving because I feel like it's giving, but I really do hope that like y'all think it's giving. So yeah. All right, y'all. So I got my handy dandy iPad, and we're just gonna get straight into these stories. Let's go. So the first one we're gonna read is, am I the asshole for calling off my son's camping trip after he ruined a painting that I drew for my wife? Obligatory, on mobile, and English is hard, so be patient. I, male 39, married my wife, female 36, 4 months ago. I have a son named Elijah, age 16. He and my wife have this tension between that started right after she moved in with us. He complains about how she enters his room all the time and invading his privacy and touching his stuff, but my wife says she's just cleaning it for him. He also complains from being forced to eat what she cooks, but my wife just says she's trying to get him to step away from unhealthy fast foods and snacks and get used to healthy homemade meals. The fighting became constant even before the wedding. Then at the wedding, he complained about being excluded from pictures and food he wanted to have, but my wife said she had nothing to do with it and that Elijah was just looking for something to hold over her head. Now, since we're in summer break and he has plenty of free time, I'd sign him up for a 2-week camping trip and paid for everything. He was supposed to go next week, but a couple days ago, something happened. It was my wife's birthday. As a gift, I drew a painting for her and gave it to her during dinner. Elijah started laughing for no reason, which made my wife annoyed. She told him he wasn't allowed to watch a movie later that night and sent him to his room. He wasn't happy. He threw a temper tantrum and said he didn't do anything to deserve a punishment. Then in the morning, my wife woke up yelling, saying that the painting I gave her was destroyed with car oil. She kept saying Elijah did it. I had him come out of his room and he admitted that he ruined it to get back at her for punishing him the night before. I lost my temper with him, then punished him by canceling his trip and taking the money back. He threw another tantrum saying he had to do it after she punished him for no reason and that it wasn't fair since I promised, but I said it was final. He started crying and called his aunt as a way to pressure me into backing out of my decision, but I refused. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say you're the asshole. You're the asshole. Like, why? So if we're gonna get into it, before you even married your now wife, he and your wife were already having problems because she was invading his privacy and forcing him to eat foods that he didn't like. Like, I get like wanting your child to be healthy, but like, why are you coming inside my room and invading my privacy and touching all over my stuff? Like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm just cleaning up, you know? Like, a lot of like Reddit stories have like the mother-in-laws that just come in and like, oh, I'm just cleaning up for you, and they're just really like rummaging through your shit. Like, I don't like that. I do not like that at all. And the fact that you don't even stick up for your son, like, just shows like you don't care about. Do you even like your son? Do you like your son? Because I don't think you do. And your wife needs to learn how to have proper boundaries, because she does not have any. Oh my gosh. All right, so the first comment that we're gonna cover is by Certain Thoughts 531. You're the asshole. Your son is still a child and your wife is competing with him. First, she has no business parenting him. That's your job, not hers. Second, if he doesn't want her in his private space, that is his right. She has no right to invade it for cleaning or whatever else. Third, are you seriously going to try and convince us that the bride has no say in the wedding pictures? Fourth, you are a very bad parent for allowing all this to happen without any reaction. Fifth, you guys need family therapy, and whenever your son accepts your wife or not, that is his business. That too. Why was he not in the pictures? Why wasn't he in the wedding pictures? That is sneaky. She did that shit on purpose. And you just let it happen. Like, why would you not want your son inside your wedding pictures? Are you really telling me that she had no say in that? That don't make no sense. That's sneaky. Crystal Queen 3000 says, normally I'd say not the asshole, but you're the asshole in this case. I honestly think she destroyed it herself and blame it on him if he hadn't owned up to it. You've taken her side repeatedly instead of believing him when he says she's crossing lines. You've only been married 4 months and there's a lot of red flags from her. He's 16. He doesn't need a stranger coming in and pushing him around or out of your life. And that's what seems to be happening. Look at everything objectively and wake up. Third try is the charm says, everyone sucks here. Your wife is being weirdly controlling and is punishing Elijah for nothing. All he did was laugh. You seem totally blind to the fact that your wife is making this situation about 150 times worse than it needs to be by imposing rules on a 16-year-old as if he's a 5-year-old. AC says, you're the asshole. Your wife is the biggest A. He's 16 and it's time for him to be allowed some autonomy, even if it is making bad choices. She's treating him like he's 6 years old. You're also an A for allowing her to do this to your son. If you treat your son like a 6-year-old, of course he's going to throw temper tantrums like a 6-year-old. You haven't left him any other options. Radio Coraline 79 says, you're the asshole. Why do you marry someone that clashes with your son? I never understand these situations. Your son and you are a package deal and you should put your son first. He's 16. She has no right coming into his room for cleaning. He's old enough to take care of his own room with enough coaxing. The healthy eating should have been instilled on him long ago, and sending a 16-year-old to his room, come on. He shouldn't have destroyed the painting, but still, you are the asshole. My cat's trying to get my water, y'all. Damn, shit in this house. Move! Like, she literally has her own water. Like, I don't know why she's tripping like this. You want to be in the video or something? I feel like you want to be in the video. So yeah, guys, all the comments pretty much follow that same train of thought that, you know, OP is the asshole and, you know, him and his wife needs to, you know, they need to set some boundaries for the son. So our next story is in r/relationship advice. Boyfriend thought we were breaking up and unloaded to his family about me. We decided to work it out and now they hate me. Title: my boyfriend and I had a pretty big argument where tempers were extreme and alcohol was involved on his part. He broke it off with me, to put it lightly, and then left for a family barbecue, where he shared a lot of our very personal struggles. I'm sure he did not mention his own personal involvement in the situations, just how horrible I was specifically. 2 of them have already blocked me on social media. His family is very much the coddling type who would definitely not think about his part in anything. We agreed to go to couples therapy and to give our relationship another try. He has a large family and nearly every weekend there is a gathering. I guess my question is, how should I go about navigating this situation? He keeps telling me that it's the consequences of my actions, and so I've got to deal with figuring out what to do. Hoping to get some advice from people that have been in similar situations. Edit: we are in a long-term relationship. We live together. We attend all his family events together. So, y'all just need to break up. Like, I know that's easier said than done, and I know people usually jump to, like, you know, divorce or, you know, breaking up, but y'all really do need to break up, because if he's so comfortable with, you know, yelling at you and, like, getting drunk and, like, getting violent and stuff with you, and then going to his family and talking shit about you, and then when he's sober, he tells you that it's pretty much your fault that he talks shit about you, like, that is not okay. And you need to be with someone that's going to respect you and especially someone that's going to respect you in front of your family. So your question was, how should you go about navigating the situation? You should get out of the situation, and that's it. There should not be a situation. Run. That's my advice. Run. So our first comment is from Houston Council. They say, he's really poisoned the well. You should give him an opportunity to repair the damages he caused or move on. If he can trust you with his family and not have any willingness to fall on the sword and explain why his criticisms of you were unfair to reinstate his family's feelings towards you, that means he has no long-term plans for your ongoing relationship, and you should pull up stakes. OP replies saying, I believe this is the correct route. If he refuses to intervene and try to soften the blow, then I'll know what I need to do. Brian or Mike says, if he's telling you sober that this is the consequences of your actions, then I'm sorry, but the writing is on the wall. I'm of course assuming you meant consequences of your actions and not that he actually said my couples counseling is not a cure at all. It doesn't work for people who don't want to work on their relationship. This does not sound like someone who wants to work on your relationship. It sounds like someone who needs to be right. You got told 10 months ago that he's 35 and is very unlikely to change. How much progress have you guys made since then? Because he's an outsider, and it's very easy to say you left 10 months ago when you posted a very similar issue in terms of respect. And OP commented saying, he is saying that me dealing with his family is the consequences of my action. Yes, we were both having issues many months ago, but since then things have greatly improved. Lately, we have both had some pretty serious life changes and deaths that made us both a little more unstable, and different issues have arisen that required therapy. We're both seeking solo therapy, but will also be attending couples therapy. These issues are separate, and since he showed improvement and we were successful at getting past most of the previous issues, I see no reason to scrap the relationship at this time. And that got negative 120 or it got 120 downvotes. Throw RA001888 said, my aunt did this to my uncle 40 years ago. Everybody still hates him. Some things can't be undone. Good luck. OP said, oh no, thanks for the good luck. Girl, run! I'm done with that story. So this is under r/relationship advice. My friend keeps insisting I'm a victim of abuse and treating me like I am, even though I've never been abused in my life, and she's driving me nuts. Obligatory throwaway. Trigger warning, mentions of abuse. So if that's a trigger for you guys, please feel free to use the timestamps below, and just protect yourself. Self-care is very important. So if you guys do not want to hear about abuse, please use the timestamps and skip on to the next story. So me, 24 female, Donna, my friend, 24 female, and Tom, my ex-boyfriend, 27 males. I dated Tom from 2014 to 2022. We broke up earlier this year after about 7.5 years. We met when I was 16 and he was 19. I need to make these points as I've made them constantly to Donna, who refuses to believe him, and she is doing my head in. 1, the legal age of consent here is 16, but that's not even an issue with this. Tom and I literally did not know each other until about 2014, when he moved into my old neighbor's house down the street. 3, I consented. 4, no coercion. 5, I've never been abused, ever. 6, we dated for close to 8 years, lived together, and were in love. 7, we broke up because we grew apart and weren't happy anymore. That's it. No sinister reason or anything. We're just grown-ups moving on. 8, dating a 19-year-old at 16 was literally not a big fucking deal to me, my parents, Tom's parents, or anyone else. 9, I'm sad and heartbroken because I love him, but we weren't happy, and she's taking that sadness to mean I'm traumatized. It's literally the only relationship I've had, so I'm allowed to be devastated over my first heartbreak. For some reason, despite telling Donna all the above, she seems to think I was a victim of abuse by an older man and brainwashed into being in a relationship with him. She thinks because of my age at the time, I wasn't mature enough to consent to dating him, and that as I got older, I was so brainwashed I couldn't leave. She even insisted there's no way I could have consented to having a sexual relationship due to him being 3 years older than me. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 21, as I had absolutely no interest in sex for several years. which was nothing to do with wanting to wait with Tom or any kind of pressure. I thought for a long time that whilst I was in love with him, I was asexual and didn't want to have any sexual relationship. I then realized I wanted a sexual relationship with him, and he was as understanding of that as he was for the first 5 years when we had no sexual contact at all. She keeps treating me with extra sensitivity and always asking me if I'm okay and stuff, and keeps mentioning there's resources out there, and she won't get the message. No matter how many times I tell her I'm not a victim of abuse of any kind, she keeps saying I'm in denial. She is driving me crazy. The other day, I just lost it. I told her that the things she's saying to me are unwarranted and that she needs to get through her head that I was in a relationship for almost a third of my life and that we grew apart, and 3-year age gap does not make him a predator. I further added that there are actual people out there being groomed for sexual exploitation and actual victims of abuse, and that it's disrespectful to them to think of my consensual and loving past relationship as abusive. She tried to go on the defense saying that she was just looking out for me, blah blah blah. I ended up with saying she needs to drop it as she's driving me nuts, or our friendship is done. I have her currently muted so I don't hear from her, as I don't really know how to proceed with this. I guess I'm just giving her some time, then I'll read her messages, then make up my own mind about her. So after reading that, I think your friend's a little weird. She is weird. She's in the wrong. There's really no reason why she needs to be forcing this narrative onto you. And I'm gonna check your page to see if there's any other updates to the situation. But yeah, no, that's really weird. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I did look at you sideways just a little bit when you mentioned that when you guys met, you were 16 and he was 19. Cause in my mind, that don't make much sense for a 19-year-old to want to be with a 16-year-old. With me being 20 right now, I couldn't even look at a 17-year-old. Like, that's makes me physically ill. Like, I couldn't do that. And I'm turning 21 next in like a week. Oh my gosh, party time. But yeah, like, that age gap is a little, like, just him being 19 and you being 16, that's a little sus to me. And like, it also depends on where like your birthdays are. But I don't know, that is a little bit sus. But I wouldn't say like he's a groomer, he's a predator, or that, you know, that you were abused or whatever. Like, it sounds like you guys did have like an actual genuine relationship, and honestly, like, you know, you probably just need to tell your friend to leave you alone and to stop, you know, mentioning it and bringing it up, because it is disrespectful to people that are actual victims of abuse. And, you know, you just need to tell her that, like, she needs to stop, or your relationship with her stops. Like, all right, so we're gonna get into the comments. Studying Prophet 8876 says, tell your friend to drop it or you're done with her. Even if you were a victim, it is not for someone else to force you to confront it in any way. In fact, what she is doing to you could well tip over into the category of emotional abuse. I told her to fuck off a long time ago, to be honest. OP replies to that saying, I issued her that ultimatum. I made it clear she needs to seriously change how she is or we are done. I will cut ties just like that. Smile Like You Mean It says, I tell her that if anyone is abusing you, it's her by taking away your agency and crossing the boundaries you try to set. Here to Read says, I kind of feel like she's projecting. I don't know if it's appropriate to ask her, but since she's insisting so much, there seems to be something in her past that she's projecting onto you and your ex. Maybe something she's not even really aware of herself, but it's irking her in some kind of way, and she just came to some kind of realization and is overreacting accordingly. That's a good comment. Like, that's very possible. Okay, Here to Read, I see you. And unfortunately, this person does not have any, sorry y'all. Unfortunately, this person does not have any other updates on their post. They did just post this 4 hours ago, so yeah. But well, I'm gonna keep an eye out on this one, because I am interested to see if she dropped her friend or not, because you need to. All right, y'all, we're gonna hop into our next story. This one is also under relationship advice, and the title is My Husband Has a Female Pen Pal. I, 35 female, since my husband, 38 male, pulling away emotionally. I talked to him, he told me nothing was wrong, etc. He was still acting strangely. I began thinking he was being unfaithful, but I couldn't find any proof. I started feeling crazy. Nothing weird on his cell phone, nothing strange on the phone bill. He always seemed to go where he said he was going. Then one day, I was putting away his laundry and found a notebook folded into a hoodie. The notebook was full of letters between him and another woman. They passed it back and forth, writing letters to each other. It was an ordinary black marble book. I could have seen it a million times before and would have not thought anything of it, but it was filled with letters back and forth. Pages and pages of letters. Nothing even overtly sexual, just deep in-depth conversation. I confronted him and he didn't hide it. He said, yeah, he has a pen pal, so what? I asked who he was talking to, and it's just someone who lives around here. I asked how it started. He said they were waiting in line at the deli one day, and they started talking. They both went to the same high school, but he graduated 10 years before her. He said they talked for a while, and they had to cut it off. And she said something along the lines of, I feel like I have so much to say, I could write a letter. And he said, go ahead and write one. So he got a notebook, wrote her a letter, and gave it to her. So she want one back, and they just kept passing the notebook back and forth. He said this is the third notebook they filled up. He said they don't text or secretly hang out, they just write letters back and forth. He said he puts the notebook in her mailbox or sometimes will switch it out at the deli. It all seems so bizarre to me. I told him he could write letters to me if he wanted to write letters. He said sure. So I said there's no need to write to her anymore, and he was like, no, I can write to both of you. And I told him it makes me really uncomfortable since he kept it a secret from me. He told me he didn't keep it a secret, he just didn't explicitly tell me because he knew I'd overreact. He said he has no intention of cheating on me, so she might as well be a guy friend that he was writing to. I told him it would be okay if I did this with a male and if he'd be okay with it. He said if I could find a man who was completely okay with having an entirely platonic relationship over letter writing, then fine, but he doubted that I would be able to find someone who wants that. He thinks I'm blowing this completely out of proportion. She says she's a pen pal and she's not going to cheat on me, so what's the use? The issue is this isn't just a pen pal situation. He sees her. She lives 2 miles away from us. He claims they don't hang out, but how is that possible that they never chat for a while, etc.? This entire situation makes me feel so weird, and he's making it out like I'm completely exaggerating. Edit, since people don't seem to get the issue. The problem isn't the letter writing, it's keeping it a secret. So looking at this, it's very weird. It's very weird. If I'm putting this into my own shoes, if my boyfriend, like I can't imagine being married right now, but if my boyfriend told me that he had a pen pal that was a female and they were just like writing back and forth, I feel like writing letters is very intimate. That's a very intimate type of relationship to have, you know. That's a very intimate thing to do. I write him letters and he writes me letters. Like, that's something that we do, and I enjoy doing that, even though, you know, we talk all the time, but it's just something that's like, it's really intimate. And so I don't really see the point of him having to write letters with this other woman. It seems blatantly disrespectful to me, especially since you've expressed to him that it makes you uncomfortable. I feel like he should be able to respect that, but him not being able to respect that and him trying to, I know this word is passed around a lot, but I feel like he's kind of trying to like gaslight you, like, oh, well, what's the big deal? Like, I'm not gonna cheat on you, or, you know, she's just a pen pal, you know, she's just a friend. You know, Biz Markie, he said she's just a friend, and she said he's just a friend. Oh, baby, he's not just a friend. He's not just a friend. Biz Markie said it first. He said it first. And I'm sticking beside it. That's not just a friend. You need to tell him to cut that shit off completely. I don't care. Or you know what? Meet the bitch. Oh, okay, she's not a bitch. Let's rewind. Meet her and tell her to stop sending letters to your man. That's too intimate. And you need to let her know that this grown man that she's been writing letters with, because she probably thinks that, like, you know, he's like older and successful and cool, and, you know, she's probably thinking all these things, and in her head she probably thinks she has a relationship with this dude. And you need to tell her, like, this is not a relationship, that he is married, he is very much taken, and, you know, she needs to back off. And you need to tell your husband that he also needs to back off, or else, you know, like, you need to leave, because obviously he doesn't respect your boundaries or your feelings in this relationship. That's how I feel about it. So getting into the comments, Janitor of Anarchy says, hang on. He says you can have a male pen pal if you can find a man who is happy to have an entirely platonic relationship with you, but you won't find a man like that. So surely, either he's the only man on the planet who is capable of having a platonic relationship, or it's not a platonic relationship that he has going on with his pen pal. The weird thing for me is the secrecy. If I have an excellent conversation with someone, then it was interesting enough to share at least bits of it with my husband. Exactly. Oh my gosh, I feel like transparency is everything in a relationship, and he's not giving you that energy. OP replied to that saying, the secrecy is the issue for me too. If he had come to me and been completely open about it from the start, it would be a different story. Foolish5678 says, I don't know, this very much sounds like the start of an emotional affair to me. It does not need to be something sexual. He is no longer present in the relationship as he was previously. I'm not buying what he's selling. OP replies to that saying, that's what I think too, and what I'm worried about. Foolish5678 replied to that saying, have you outright asked him to cut the shit? He hid it from you knowing that you would not like it. He deliberately went out of his way. He knows where she lives. It sounds like they met frequently enough. I would like to meet this girl. I think I would like to meet this girl. Have you considered running into them at this deli? This relationship is at best disrespectful to you, and at worst an outright betrayal. OP replies saying, I'm considering talking to her and asking to meet up. Happy Mama 40 says, I wouldn't like this for the simple fact that this is making him different. It doesn't matter if it's cheating or not. In the text, he is checking out of the relationship. That's not okay. When your relationship with anyone else affects the one with your spouse, it's not okay. That's why he hid the notebook. He knows it's not okay, or he would have said something. OP replies saying, I tried to communicate that to him. He said, what difference does it make? I said, clearly it's making a difference because I noticed a difference in the way you were acting with me. He told me that it was all just in my head. He's gaslighting her. That was gaslighting. Y'all. See, not all men. Definitely that one though. Definitely that one. That is so shitty. Like, how can you sit there? Oh gosh. Absolutely not. Alright guys, so our next and final story is from Am I the Asshole subreddit, and it is titled, Am I the Asshole for leaving the restaurant after my boyfriend refused to pay for my meal? I had lent my boyfriend some money a few weeks ago because of something he needed, and he promised to pay me back ASAP. He was supposed to pay me back 5 days ago, but something came up and he didn't. I tried to be patient. Yesterday, we had planned to go out with some friends at night for dinner. Yesterday, I came back from work, I was robbed on the bus, and had all my money and cards stolen. I canceled my cards, but the bank customer service told me that my new card with my new details, both physical cards and the digital details for Apple Pay, would be available the following morning because the banks were closed that afternoon, so I had no money. When we went to dinner with my boyfriend and friends, I told my boyfriend if he could just pay me back the money or at least pay for my meal since I have no money. He didn't exactly say yes or no, just a simple don't worry. As we ordered the meal, he only ordered for himself and told me he can't cover it for mine at the moment, so I better not order anything and just have some bites from his meal. I was so mad and frustrated because he had promised to give me back the money. He claimed something came up and he couldn't give them back, but then ordered a nice meal for himself and just told me to get scraps because he wouldn't pay me back or at least pay for my meal. I'd be the only one sitting there with no meal in front of me. I said this was ridiculous and I got up and left. Our friends now believe it was very low of me to get up and leave, and how I should just be polite and stay there. I can't quite understand that logic, but is there any way that I'm the asshole? That is a trash man. That is a trash man. That's not even a man. That is a boy. How? There's a lot of things that I genuinely cannot comprehend, and this is one of them. I do not understand how you can feel so comfortable sitting there eating a meal and having your girlfriend pick scraps off of your plate because you won't pay for her. That is little boy behavior. That is little boy behavior. You don't put ages in here, but I'm just gonna assume that he's 15 years old and he ain't shit. Like, even if you did have money, I feel like he should have paid for you anyway, because he already owed you money. And he's owed you money for a few weeks now. And he needs to pay you back. And your friends are stupid. Your friends are dumb. Like, I don't know if they know the full situation, if they know that, you know, that all your money was literally stolen, and that, you know, your boyfriend owed you money anyway, or like, I don't know why they would have said that, or if they had such a problem with it, why they wouldn't just pay for you themselves. Like, that's also some snake shit. Because I know for me personally, first of all, my boyfriend would pay for my meal at a restaurant. Like, if we went out with friends, he would pay for my meal. Okay, he's that type of man. Like, he's a good man. He's going to pay for my meal, even if I don't, even if, like, I can afford it myself, he's still going to pay for my meal because he has respect for me. Okay? And if I go out with my friends and I'm like, shoot, like, I don't got it like that right now, well, first of all, I wouldn't really go out in the first place, but also, my friends would pay for me. They would pay for me because they have respect for me, and I would do the exact same thing for them. In fact, that has happened multiple times, and it's not a big deal because we all love and respect each other. And your friends and your boyfriend ain't shit at all. Ain't shit. All right, so we're just gonna hop right into the comments.
Hey guys, it's Editing Kai. When I screenshotted the comment, it was edited, so that's why it's different on the screen than what I said. But just ignore that.
RM Joe F says, not the asshole, you may want to consider your relationship here. Did you tell your friends or boyfriend that you were robbed? If yes, and they acted like this, then they are not your friends. Edit, typo, and not the asshole ruling. Wow, maybe I should go study for my law degree. OP replied to that saying, yes, my boyfriend was the first person I told, and I told my friends before we sat at the restaurant. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. How can I just don't understand. I don't understand how you could do that to your friend or your girlfriend. Do you even like her? Do y'all even like OP? Because obviously you don't. You obviously don't like her. You don't like her, and you don't claim for her to be a friend to you. So we got a little story within a story from Level Outlandishness 1. Saying, I considered staying around this toxic girl whom I called a friend that owed me $13 because I warned her about how petty I am about the smallest amount of money. I told her in a joking manner that I chased the school staff down for 3 months over $1.10 lost in a vending machine, and that I could just give her the money rather than loaning it, but she insisted on borrowing for some reason. My mom, who really wanted me to just cut her off, showed me this movie called A Bronx Tale. A scene where the main character is chasing down someone who owes him $20, and the mentor figure stops him and goes, you know how much it cost you to cut him loose? $20. Now you never have to deal with him again. I hope for OP it was only around $20. Final comment that has 1 award says, excuse me, your friend said what? OMG, I would be fuming. Your boyfriend completely humiliated you, and your friends who were there don't see this as a problem. Dump the boyfriend and the friends, not the asshole. And OP replied to that saying, yes, they also said I ruined the mood and caused a scene by leaving, and I made it awkward for everyone there. So we're just gonna end it there, y'all. All those stories piss me off. I can't fathom how people can be so rude and disrespectful and just like blatantly like mean and just nasty. Like, that's so rude. And I get it, like some people really don't have it like that, but also like figure it out, you know? Like I just can't. Like that whole story is just very icky to me, and I hope OP finds some better friends and a better boyfriend. Hopefully a man with money, or a girlfriend if, you know, she sings that way. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. My phone is dying. It was on 10% like 5 minutes ago, so hopefully it doesn't die in the middle of this, and I will see you guys in my next video, hopefully next week. But please do not hold me to that. Yeah, so like I said in the beginning of the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and please follow me on all my other social medias, and they will be linked down below. And I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for, you know, making this little YouTube dream come true, and, you know, just supporting me and my channel. Love you guys very much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.